manage your mind, how to change the story with what you want, to get what you want, to create what you want with a specific person, especially if you are in a period of no contact. You have termed things as hot and cold. If you've watched a lot of manifestation videos and you have a lot of content and you feel overwhelmed and you still aren't getting what you want, this is also for you. All right. So before I get started, just a reminder that all the links for booking one-on-one coaching with me, hypnosis with me, and all of my offerings, including my best-selling hypnosis recordings, are in the box below. So you can find all that there. All right. So you guys, this is exciting because this client's story went from she and her SP were in a period of, like I said, no contact. They weren't speaking. It wasn't consistent. She, at the beginning of our first session, said she wanted consistency, dependability. She wanted also for him to show up for her more and for things to really overall be different. Now, the thing about this client too is that I began to give her, coaching advice, coaching tips, telling her what to do with her mental diet. And she would, she wrote this in her success story, and I'm going to read part of it today and then part of it for the video after this. But she had gotten herself really muddled up in her mind and very confused about what is the mental diet, what's going on with this whole create your reality thing, and then how do we use it to our advantage. So like I've said in my recent videos, there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of avenues where you can find manifestation information, and this client was getting a little bit derailed by a lot of that stuff. Okay. So if that speaks to you too, then remember that, just a reminder, you guys, what you want is entirely possible. What you desire to create with your specific person is 100% possible. It all depends on you, your thoughts, what you're thinking, and what you're pushing out. So I'm going to go into just like a reminder of what is everyone you pushed out means, what's my perspective, how do I help people kind of work that into their manifesting. And I totally forgot, you guys, I'm in my brand new office and look what I have on my wall. So I have just a reminder of daily affirmations here. And then I got this made specifically. It says, it's already yours, your universe. I had the girl that makes these make that tailored to me. If you're looking for something like this, it's from Etsy. Okay. So back to the success story. I am going to jump on in and read it. So funny because she tried to write it like in a short version, and that's why I'm breaking it up into two parts, because there's lots of information, but I'm going to read part of it specifically about circumstances in your 3D, if there's a lot of hot and cold, or you've termed things that way. Okay. First of all, she writes, I am a success story, exclamation point, in all caps, Alexis. Dear Alexis, I can't really put into words. Shocking, right? LOL, how much you have helped me change my life in such a short amount of time. I am grateful for you, and you will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you for being so supportive, amazing, and awesome to me. When I went back to our first video call and our last, the change in me is remarkable. Laughing with you instead of crying wins, and she puts in all caps again. Also, I tried to keep this short and not novel length. I did my best, LOL. Okay. I remember when I met with Alexis for the first time. I actually booked my session at 3 a.m. thinking, I know this person who resonates with me is going to be able to help me figure this out. And she did. I was completely exhausted, frustrated, and my life felt out of control. I had taken on more than a year of mixed content on multiple platforms about manifestation. I didn't understand then what everyone as you pushed out truly meant, and was taking every video as it was meant for me. In a constant state of more to fix, my endless self-concept work needed all the rules of not reaching out to your SP, because if you trusted they would do it, then they would do it. Never taking action because this is forcing the 3D, fearing thoughts, believing that when my SP came in that I was going to be triggered, basically that I was ruining everything, etc. So I just want to pause there. Those are all the things that she was doing, okay? Those are all of that was her method for creating her reality, was endless self-concept work, needing all the rules of not reaching out to your SP, because if she believed that it would be happening, then it would be happening, pretty much blaming herself and not changing the story. Okay. So back to her success story. Okay. What I wanted with my SP was a stable, secure, mutually beneficial, unconditionally loving relationship. I was freshly divorced and thought I was totally ready for this relationship, and I wanted it. Did I want to quit every other day before Alexis? Yes, but something within me was saying not to. I knew it was coming from me. This wasn't entirely about the SP, who was already the sweetest man. I am a lucky girl. Alexis helped me with my story about who I am in my relationship, my story with my SP, and the story about our perceived circumstances. Alexis also taught me how to change my perception of things, give it a meaning that works in your best interest, not against you. Also understanding when things pop up in your mind, it isn't something to fear. Your subconscious is working with you to figure things out, nothing to fear. ... Within 48 hours of talking to Alexis, I received contact from my SP just by focusing my thoughts from the end of a relationship on, guess what? Communication. Literally just thinking to myself, he's calling me, texting me, etc. I am the creator. I am in control of this. All right. So I'm going to stop there with the success story. So look at how many things that she has already pointed out for us to learn from. So like I said, when she first came to session, she had taken in so much content, you guys, that the SP would do something like, and I see this a lot now with people, like and remember, it doesn't matter the gender, just saying, right? I have clients of all different walks of life and interests. So he would like have something to do because he has, this situation, there's people, like there's children, okay, without giving too much info, he would like have something to do that there was no rejection, there was no abandonment, nothing going on, but she would perceive it that way. She would also then perceive this manifestation speak is what I'm terming it as. I'm the creator of my reality. He's not totally available for me. So that means something is wrong. This means I'm not doing it right. Things aren't working out for me. And all of the things that she had learned from all of the content and then from not getting coaching on just dealing with her own issues about herself, all that content stuff that she was taking in, it was really, really, really derailing her. And it was really what was keeping them separate, because then she was telling herself a story. I'm the creator of my reality. This is all my fault. It's not working for me. This is never going to happen for me. We're never going to be together, etc. Okay. So like she said, what she and I worked on first was changing the story about all those things, right? So you also want to, if you're actively thinking that, I get it, you guys, I understand, because when you learn that you're the creator of your reality and you learn and you understand everything is energy, then we know that it comes from us. But remember, it comes from the assumptions and the beliefs that don't line up with what you want, that inherently weren't even your fault that they're there. You took them on. Generally, like I've said so many times, from primary, secondary caregivers or a teacher or someone in your very early years, we've taken on a story and information and assumptions about love, relationships, self-concept, lovability, who we are, that then is the driving force that gives us thoughts that pushes out to the environment. So it wasn't her fault, right? And it wasn't even the people who like implanted that information. It usually we're dealing with, oh my gosh, you guys, I said I would talk about it in a different video, like generational trauma or generational belief systems that just get passed down from parent to parent, caregiver to caregiver, right? I intend that it's changing. I intend that we are all focusing on conscious parenting. That's what I'm doing with my husband and with my son, focusing on giving him the thoughts and the beliefs and the assumption that he is amazing, he is successful, he is brilliant, he is a champion, he is a winner. Just to say that so that we intend for what we want here. But like, look at you guys, most people come from family systems that didn't, of course, do that. So that's all that's ever happening. So she's not to blame, you're not to blame, I'm not to blame. What we are doing is consciously getting a hold of our mind, consciously getting a hold of our thinking that is changing the subconscious mind so that we push out and we create a different experience. Okay. So like when we first started talking, she had all of these stories going on. There was that whole story about she's to blame because she's manifesting. And then there were the stories about a third party. Now, funnily enough, it turns out that there was never even an actual third party at the time she thought that there was. It was her assumptions about herself and her assumptions about love and abandonment and rejection from the past that were kind of creating this whole story that like there was very little basis, it turns out, when she actually asked him later in the 3D reality. So isn't that interesting? So that's a really good reminder to everybody and myself too, that we can often create things based upon past experiences. If something looks like something, or it has an inkling of information that's like the past, and then what do? We project it on the present, and then we project it on to the future. Okay. So really key to look at her success story, because now, just to give you kind of a fast forward, this is 2-part video, right? So they are in communication. They are consistent. He has shown up for her, is being dependable, is opening up to her emotionally. They're creating the connection that she wants. They're creating the dependability, and they're creating this blended life together, which is for her situation necessary. Okay. So the other stories that she had were about communication, were about when he would have something else to do and wouldn't necessarily be there with her. And you guys, like, listen, manifesting and an SP, it's not about like that you have evidence that it's working if they're glued to you, like if they drop everything and they're right there with you. No, 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 no. So much of this is about maintaining and creating your stability, your security, your lovability, your amazingness and awesomeness in relationships, so that therefore we no longer turn things and have the story of abandonment, of rejection, because that's what is the driving force. There's usually one or two that I've always seen with people that we know. It's either living from the end of abandonment or living from the end of rejection. And oftentimes you might think that you have more of one ingrained in you, and it could be the opposite. Okay. In any event, we really, really, really want to focus on that, because what we want to do is have the security, the safety, the stability within. SP is like out doing something and you're thinking, oh, they're great, they're having a fun time. They're out with their friends, or they're out at the grocery store and they're thinking of me. We're always connected. We're always having our connection. Our connection is everlasting. We're always together. He or she or they are always thinking about me. And we're committed, we're connected, right? Because like most of us don't want to have partners that are like, what are you doing? Where are you? What's going on? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you showing up for me? Right? So that was the other thing, that she had stopped talking to him in her 3D reality about really like most things. So what I always say is that you want to be communicating and saying things and speaking up for yourself from a place of, I have this, I have whatever I need already, and then I'm talking about it. But it's not to say that you want to be sitting on your fingers and not reaching out to somebody or checking in or saying hi. We just don't want to come from the place of lack. So she began to really, really turn this around by focusing on the thoughts of, we are consistent. He's showing up for me more and more. I'm staying the course this time. I am safe. I am secure. I am stable in my relationship. I am the creator of my reality. I'm changing the story. I'm changing my thoughts, right? So remember that we really want to be telling ourselves that whole thing too. Telling yourself the story of like, listen, like for me, Alexis, my reality, and I tell myself this, you guys, all the time, my reality is an illusion. I am living a dream. We're all living a dream. So what I choose, what I decide, what I think within me pushes out and influences outside of me. It is that simple. So we just don't want to spend a lot of time using the I create my reality speak to be thinking that everything is your fault, or that you're to blame, or that everything needs to happen perfectly because that means that you're doing this right or something. No, you guys, it's like, you know, your partner or your husband or your girlfriend or your wife or whoever they are, they go out. We don't want to have abandonment and rejection get activated at all, right? You want to understand first, okay, like she did, we sat with it, we appreciated it, we moved the feelings of abandonment, we moved the feelings of rejection through her. She didn't resist it, is the other big thing, because what you resist persists. So I said, okay, we have this here. Who's this really about, right? And she knew the caregiver that it was about. Now, is this inner child work? Is it work? Is it psychology? Is it that kind of thing? Yes, it is, but it's the way to get past and clear and reframe your blocks, change the story, and think new thoughts. Just to clear that up. This video, like usual, it's becoming something else. Like these videos always become something else. But yes, so in any event, to make it simple and to make it workable and to make it clear, how you do this, how you move from hot and cold, not seeing someone, not communicating, no contact, is you decide that you're the only one who can change the story. It's also understanding that, like when she had come to coaching, she was doing affirmations. She was doing like I like to call it like a quasi mental diet, because she was thinking thoughts like, he pursues me, he calls me, he chooses me. Now she wasn't getting movement and things weren't changing because she had this story, like she said, of love, that it was never working out for her. In this case, right, men didn't show up for her. Men didn't want to be emotional with her. And a lot of that came from her first husband. But like she had said, she was also newly divorced and really ready for a relationship. So if that's you, you can definitely make it happen. It's just up to you and what you're telling yourself. Okay. So she had all these stories going on. So we've really, 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 you guys got to change the story. How do you change the story? Is you get very familiar with what is the story. Like, what is the story? As simple as this. Let's pretend, oh, here we go. This is your SP. And you just think, what story have I created about you? Okay. What story have I created? Maybe writing it down, getting familiar with it. You don't have to write it down, but understanding who you've created. It's not fact. Like a lot of people have SPs who are non-emotional, who they've termed are hot and cold. They're not sharing their life with them. They are too busy. I hear a lot, right? That's a story as an example. So if you're doing affirmations, like he or she always calls me, they're always calling me, they're always there for me, they want a relationship with me, they love me. And then you think, oh, but they're so busy, or we have created that they're busy, it will cancel them out. So we have to change the story to, no, this person always makes time for me. They always have more than enough time for everything. They have enough time for love because love's important to them. Okay. But I also want to stress too, that like this client, if you're kind of going at this alone and not getting one-on-one coaching or help to look at the story, then it can be hard to see it, because usually a lot of us have a difficult time looking at ourselves and looking at what's within us. Okay. But she changed the story. She changed the outer reality. And then fast forward, so much is happening for her, and so much is happening in a short amount of time, like she said. All right. So if this is you guys, you can do this. You can push through. You can go from hot and cold, little communication, to exactly what you want, creating that evolved connection, the commitment, and that true love, right? That we're really, really focusing on manifesting. So I hope that you found this video helpful. And I went over some affirmations. If you want to rewind and then write down the intentions, that wasn't the purpose of the video. The purpose really is, what is the story you're telling yourself? Change it, get what you want. All right. So have a great week, you guys. Make today awesome. And I intend the best for you. Remember, you can have, be, or do anything that you desire, and that you got this. All right. So smile today, laugh a little bit, have fun, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.